Shalom, and thank you for watching this video from HaDerekh Synagogue. I hope you are liking the content we are bringing you. If you could like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, that will greatly help us. And to further help bring great content to you from our teachers, if you could please consider to donate to HaDerekh Synagogue. The link is in the description box below. Thank you for watching.
Chok HaTorah. There is one command that everyone agrees is a chok, and that is the law of the paraduma, which comes from today's Torah portion. But Midbar 19 begins by stating, Zot hu chas HaTorah asher tzivah Hashem. This is the decree of Torah as commanded by Hashem. And two things are being said in that short statement. Hashem is readying to provide us a command, and we have little or no hope to understand it. As the command unfolds in the remaining 20-some verses of the Midbar 19, we see it unveil strange, unusual, and seemingly illogical procedures. The rabbis consider the red heifer as the ultimate unknowable command, the greatest example of a command we perform without any basic understanding of the why. In fact, when Rav Yochanan and Reish Lakish analyzed the paraduma to find a uniform pattern of conditions throughout the statute, they were able to find nothing but what the fox brings in upon his feet from the plowed fields, which is dust. And that comes from Yoma 43b. The use of the phrase statute of the Torah limits our ability to use a Gezerah Shava argument when interpreting the text. Gezerah Shava is an equivalence of terms. The second rule of Hillel, this is a comparison between two texts when a term, word, or a root are shared between two differing portions of the biblical text. For instance, both Shoftim 15:3 and Shmuel Aleph 1:10 use the phrase, no razor shall touch his head. So that's in reference to Shimshon and the prophet Samuel, because both of them were under the law of the Naziris, of the Nazir. Seeing the possibility of abuse, Rav Ishmael limits the use of the Gezerah Shava by means of a mufna lehakish. I hope I got that pronounced right. Which states at least one of the elements used in an analogy must be shown to be empty of meaning and freed from interpretation before it can be used in a Gezerah Shava. In other words, that word can't be used with another word to interpret, or this over here, it's got to be free. This limitation of interpretation goes so far to suggest that if one deviates from the prescribed chronology of tasks in this particular chok, the whole procedure is invalid and the body of the paraduma is wasted. And the paraduma is a rare specimen, and you don't want to waste it. There are other such commandments in Torah, and the mnemonic provided in Menachos 19a gives us an easy way to remember them. Natats Yakmel. So those other ones are Naziris, Todah, Tzaris, Yom Kippurim, Korbanos, Mincha, and Lechem Panim. And you all know what all that means, right? Okay, I'll go back. Okay, all of them is the Nazirite vow, the Thanksgiving offering, leprosy, Yom Kippur, I don't need to explain that one. Korbanos is sacrifices. Mincha, that is the grain. And then the Lechem Panim, that is the bread of the face. That is the bread that is baked every week and put into the Mishkan or the Mikdash. The showbread. Okay, thank you. The showbread. I'm not used to that terminology, but okay. Maybe it's because it's on show for a whole week and it doesn't cool down and doesn't mold. I know my challah, if I don't eat it, it's got mold grown by day 3. So these are the essential laws that generally use the term Hukas and Torah together. Though the Gemara in Menachos 19a amends its original ruling, determines that Hukas does not necessarily have to be accompanied with the term Torah to be an essential chok. Again, this is a statute of law, indicates that there can only be one law for the red heifer and we shall not deviate from it through the use of a gezerah shava, because a gezerah shava is often used to create a leniency. One thing to note is that the Paraduma service has similarities to both Yom Kippurim and the Eglah Arufa. The Eglah Arufa is the calf whose neck is broken. The Yom Kippur service affords the community an opportunity to confess his communal sin and return to a state of close covenant with Hashem. The Eglah Arufa comes to us because of our lack of hospitality. A dead body is discovered, and the nearest town, if the body is discovered in a field, must perform the ritual of the heifer whose neck is broken in order to atone for that death, when no one knows who perpetuated the deed. Because of various similarities between the three, I will repeatedly refer to these two rituals, or at least a cursory knowledge would be helpful, and I think you might have a cursory knowledge. These services can be found in Vayikra 16 for Yom Kippur and Devarim 21 for the Eglah Arufa. In Bamidbar 16, the Torah details the Korach rebellion. And in spite of Moshe's attempts at reconciliation, the events end tragically as Korah and his followers, the 250 men of renown, and their families, except for Korah's family, they all perish. And the problem, unfortunately, is not over, because the very next day, 14,700 people stand up against Moshe and against the Ohel HaMoed, the tent of meeting. Altogether, more than 14,950 people die at in that whole rebellious incident. After these events, the Torah reaffirms Aharon's appointment as Kohen Gadol. Hashem provides regulations on approaching and entering the Ohel HaMoed to reduce the number of bodies that litter the ground. And he provides the care for the Kohanim and the Leviim. This is the last scene from year 2 after the Exodus, featuring the generation who came out of Mitzrayim. In chapter 20, Miriam dies, and this is our last year of the wilderness experience. Nestled in the midst of this sadness and death is a rule on how we can return to a state of purity once we have grieved and cared for our dead. And let me tell you, no mitzvah shows true love better than caring for the dead. And why is that? Because the dead cannot say thank you, and the dead cannot do something to you in return. So that's why every morning in our prayers we are reminded that escorting the dead is fully paid in the world to come, not here. And that comes from Peah 1:1 and Shabbos 127a.